Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday.
Yes, it
Happy
is.
Hump Day.
Almost there.
We can do it, guys. I'm going to the Beach Boys today.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Kokomo. I'm wearing my nautical knotted shirt.
You look great, and I feel like you feel great.
Ahoy, hoy. I really do. Welcome to DBL. All right, there are just 82 days left until the election, and as Donald Trump continues to slump in the polls, sources are now saying inside his campaign, they say he is reportedly having a, quote, meltdown and, quote, lighting up his staffers about his running mate, J.D. Vance. They say Trump knows Vance was a terrible pick. He's also reportedly talking about firing his campaign managers. Meanwhile, both Kamala Harris and Trump are holding rallies this week in North Carolina, which actually has now become a toss-up state. So if you're from North Carolina, write us in. But that's not the only state now in play. A new poll shows Harris closing in on Trump in Florida. That's his home state, as you know. So will Trump ditch Vance and maybe his campaign managers? I've been saying this, managers. I've been saying this forever. People haven't believed me. I think he regretted Vance the second it came out, the second he heard the childless cat ladies moment. He doesn't like being called weird. He doesn't think he's won anything, and Kamala Harris's pick has really outdone him. Do you think he will overturn J.D. Vance and say, "You're fired"?
I think so, and I know I've gotten pushback as well because a lot of people are like, no. Trump is someone that doubles down. He's not one that wants to make it look like he made a mistake.
Right.
I think you can spin that. So it makes it look like he's the victor and that he wants to choose someone that best fits his campaign and his alignment, so to speak. So I would think in the next few weeks we are going to see a new VP pick. That's just my prediction.
What do you think, Jeff?
I don't. Because I think Trump, when he makes a decision, I think he's gotten this far in his life. I've been saying this for a long time. His decision is right. And if he backs down from that and makes the public right, it somehow weakens him in his own mind. He's a sociopath. And I don't care what people say.
What
That's
if
what I think he is.
spins it, though?
I don't know if he can because
What
it's
if he
his
says
pick.
the bureaucracy told me to do this and I
Or
knew
I didn't know
he
about
won't
this.
because it's still his fault. I think if anything, he's going to double down. Do I think he picked the wrong pick? Absolutely.
You and I
but
agree.
I do not think he will back down from any decision on any level throughout his life.
Even though he's fired several chief of staffs within his 1 month, he's had like 3 chiefs of staff when he was president, even though he's switched up his campaign strategists.
I think from a strategy standpoint, it's probably what's needed to reinvigorate his campaign.
I agree.
But I don't know if that necessarily means that he would be admitting to doing something wrong. I think ultimately this move where obviously everyone thought it was Biden during the RNC, and then it turned out to be Kamala Harris, and that put the Republicans on their hind legs. If I was in a campaign strategy situation, I would be saying this isn't working. You have to switch it because it's going to put the other side on its hind legs. Now, what that would look like and how long or how fast we would get to know who this candidate is, we're going back to the same conversation we were having when we were talking about if Biden's actually going to make it to the election.
Exactly. And the only way to do it, by the way, is he's elected by the delegates. So he's already been in the convention. He would have to have J.D. Vance say, "I'm withdrawing." Somehow get him to do that.
Make him the fall guy.
Correct. Now, which is what Trump does. Let's take a look at what Nikki Haley has to say about this kind of campaign slump. Take a look.
The campaign is not going to win talking about crowd sizes. It's not going to win talking about what race Kamala Harris is. It's not going to win talking about whether she's dumb. It's not. You can't win on those things. The American people are smart. Treat them like they're smart. The Republican Party needs to make a serious shift here. And the first thing is the Republican Party, Donald Trump, people here at Fox, quit complaining that she's not giving an interview.
Interesting. So that was on Fox News. So she's even speaking about that. Now, at his first solo campaign stop, the other side, Tim Walz, is defending his military record. So this is in response to Republicans, including J.D. Vance, who we just spoke about, who have accused him of stolen valor. I want you to take a look at this.
These guys are even attacking me for my record of service. And I just want to say, I'm proud to serve my country, and I always will be. And I firmly believe you should never denigrate another person's service record. To anyone brave enough to put on that uniform for our great country, including my opponent, I just have a few simple words. Thank you for your service and sacrifice.
That's how you do it. Vance has already hit back. He thanked Walz for his service and then said, quote, he should not have lied about it. He said he'd be happy to discuss it more in a debate. What do you think of Walz's defense, and is this an effective line of attack for the Republicans? I want to be very clear here. We fact check very closely. I do want to say that when he left his National Guard, they were going away, but he was trying to run for Congress. He'd officially run for Congress before they had actually boarded and created the move to Afghanistan. So these things were happening simultaneously. He left to go run for Congress. He didn't know they were going to Afghanistan. After that, they did. So I just want to make that very clear, and I also want to thank both of these men for their service.
I'm also thinking this might be out of context, and I'm not one to stick up for J.D. Vance because I don't agree with his policies, hard stop. But, you know, J.D. Vance was initially responding to a resurfaced video where Tim Walz said that he fought in combat.
Correct.
He never did.
Right.
And he did say he misspoke.
Right.
And Tim Walz did clarify multiple times, I'm not saying I don't appreciate his service, I do. I just don't want him to misspeak about whether or not he sacrificed his life in combat. So I think it's important that we get those facts straight, whether it's on the Republican side or the Democrat side.
I agree. Jeff, what do you think about this?
Yeah, we you know, everyone's like, oh, we fact check and do this, but when a Republican Party has rumors going around, we're like, that's what's happening.
Right,
when
right,
the Democrats have rumors going around, we're like, that's not true. She wasn't a czar. That's out. This is out. She's not this. That's
you don't
it's
think
like
the fact checking
straight, just straight. That's not true. Let's move on. But then when we have a rumor about Republicans, let's dive in. This is exactly what's happening. There's rumors on both sides. People just take what's going on the Republican side to heart and dismiss what's happening on the Democratic side. They're just like, that's not true. Let's move on.
What do you think in response to that?
I don't see how I understand what you're saying, but I don't see how it's relevant to what was just stated, because I feel like exactly what Tori said and what Sam said goes to show you that we are talking about both sides. But I get what you're saying. I felt like right now we've done that. You don't think we did that?
No, I don't. I don't think we do it ever. I don't think anyone does it ever. I just think they take to heart I'm just confused about the whole thing. How Kamala Harris got knocked out of the election last year, or in 2020, and now all of a sudden she's the best thing since sliced bread. It's like, I don't understand the polls and the population, and these numbers are working in the swings. I don't get it. I don't understand
opinion, and that's how opinion works.
Yeah, but I don't. That's fine. I don't agree with it. I definitely think things are leaning stacked toward the Democratic side, and everything's falling apart on the Republican side.
Can I ask you?
But just a few months ago, it was the opposite, and we talked about the pendulum swinging both ways, and that's just what happens when momentum happens. There's been a major shift. I mean, something we've never seen before. So of course we were talking about, is there a way to reinvigorate the Democratic Party? That happened, and now people are confused as to why it's happening. Well, it's happening because we have a different candidate, different strategy, and people are motivated.
I'll give you a different example aside from all this. Biden was declining hard, and not to go back to that, he's already stepped down, but he was declining hard. No one ever admitted, no matter how many times he fell upstairs, downstairs, off his bike, he's fine, he's fine. Trump had one slur, and we replayed it on an audio, and we're like, he slurred that S, he's declining quick. Like, we wouldn't admit that ever on the Democratic side, but if Trump slips one word, they're like, he's really declining. They're using the same argument. I'm coming at this from a guy in the middle, trying to point out both sides. I'm not trying to lean one way or the other. I'm telling you how media takes one thing and makes it something, and takes another thing and totally dismisses it.
Right. Yeah, you called Trump a sociopath earlier, and then you'll also go and you'll.
I appreciate you defending me, but I'm looking at it from the middle. When I see people
I want
all
our
left,
viewers to know that.
Yeah, when I see people left, I'm like, how do you think that? That's exactly what happened on the right side when that just happened, and vice versa.
Yeah, yeah.
Let us know what you guys think. That's the whole point of the show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. We're turning to someone a lot hotter than our politicians. George Clooney and Brad Pitt, hello. They're leaning into their bromance. They are both on the cover of GQ. Let me take a quick look. Hello.
Wow.
Talking about their upcoming...
Look like wax figures.
I know, their upcoming Netflix movie, Wolves. I gotta be honest, I think it should be Wolves. The plural of wolf, okay. They opened up about how they check in on each other when things get bumpy in their lives. George Clooney also responded to Quentin Tarantino's claim he's not a real movie star. So in an interview with Deadline last year, Quentin named Julia Roberts, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Denzel Washington as legitimate movie stars, but said it's been a while since George Clooney has had any box office appeal and drew an audience to one of his films. George got his start on TV in the 80s on The Facts of Life, and then, of course, ER, where I found him in the 90s. He basically said Quentin can now bleep off, but says he still respects him as a director. Do we think George Clooney is a movie star?
Yeah, he hasn't had any big blockbusters in recent times. That's okay for Quentin Tarantino to say that, in my opinion. I also know that Quentin Tarantino and Brad Pitt are very close, so there's a little wedge here.
That's true. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Now, he and George Clooney were in Dusk Till Dawn together. They both acted in that movie, directed by Robert Rodriguez. Thoughts about George Clooney, anyone?
I like his response. I like it. Old school. How about this? Bleep you.
And that's
you know
okay
what I mean?
too.
I like it.
And
he
that's
is a movie
okay
star.
too.
I think he is a movie star.
But Quentin Tarantino said specifically recent blockbuster hits.
Okay, but that's two different things. You could be a movie star and not have. Is James Dean a movie star?
Yes.
He hasn't had a hit in a while.
Yes. Agreed.
You know?
I agree.
That's terrible.
What?
That's funny.
I agree.
What's the last George Clooney movie you saw?
Oh, the one about him and Julia
Roberts. That was a hit on Netflix.
I liked it.
Their daughter got married in Bali.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was cute. I watched it when we were in Vegas when I had COVID, and I didn't know I had COVID.
What's your favorite George Clooney movie?
I like the Oceans movies.
Danny Ocean's?
Yeah.
The really good one.
What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, that's the first thing that popped up.
So
When you talk
cute.
movie star, I mean, that was his, I don't know, coming out party, but he was great in that. Yeah.
Do you think Brad Pitt or George Clooney, which one is bigger?
Brad Pitt.
I find this triangle to be very interesting, not the one on Brad Pitt's arm. The one that you were talking about with Quentin Tarantino and Brad Pitt being very close. Maybe he feels some type of way about
jelly?
being close with George Clooney.
A little jelly.
Maybe he's the other man.
I think what's going on here is that they're kind of talking because Quentin's still got to come out with his 10th movie.
That's right, his last and final.
His last and final, and I'm calling it right now, George Clooney's going to be in there.
Oh, that's good marketing.
That would be very good. Let's talk about that. All right, coming up on DBL, friend of the show, David Arquette, is telling us how he's taking on a different role to help people conquer loss.
Welcome back. We all know David Arquette from the Scream movies, but now he's taking on a new project aimed at grief in his new movie, The Good Half. Earlier, we talked with him all about it. Check it out.
Please welcome back David Arquette.
So glad to be here.
We love you here. David, your new movie, The Good Half, is actually quite a departure from your typical movie choice, as you're playing a grieving spouse. I wanted to ask you, my father's now become a grieving spouse. I'm sort of in the middle of that. What made you want to take on this role?
It's really, I mean, we all go through it, and it's such a painful process. This film deals with it in a very personal way, in a humorous way. It finds the sort of awkward moments that a family also goes through. And it's just a really well directed film by Robert Schwartzman. He did such a wonderful job. It's amazing. Nick Jonas is the lead, and he just really is a incredible actor, and he does such a great job balancing the humor and the sort of drama of the family dynamic.
You've also been very generous with your own experiences. This movie takes a look at the dynamics of grief, but you've already been very open about your grief journey after the loss of your sibling Alexis. So how did you approach this role with that in mind?
Oh man, I found that one of the best ways to heal is to really find gratitude in having those people in your life for any amount of time that you did. Gratitude for the times that you spent together, the memories that you shared with them. Just really keep them alive in your hearts. And the more you can lean into that gratitude, the sort of more thankful you could be that you actually had them as your sibling or your parent or your in-law, whatever it is.
Beautifully said. Okay, so you mentioned you worked with Nick Jonas. Of course, I saw Brittany Snow in there, Matt Walsh, so many other awesome actors. I know it's a heavy role, but was there anything really funny that happened behind the scenes that you want to share with us?
There was a lot of funny stuff. I mean, yeah, it's Brett, the writer, he took it from his own personal experiences, and I play a character named Rick, who's the stepfather, who doesn't really take the rest of the family's feelings into consideration and just kind of plans this stuff and doesn't really, he's kind of in denial about what he's going through. He just wants to get it over with. So it's really funny playing this character because I'm a people pleaser at heart. So I'd want to like laugh at certain things or smile at certain things, but my character wouldn't. He'd be annoyed by everything. So whatever I would think, I would go completely the opposite way.
David, usually I'm annoyed by everything, but your face makes me smile, man. So we're on the same page here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You too.
Yes, I love it. So The Good Half premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival last year and got a great reception. But we've done stories about actors who had 7-minute standing ovations at the Cannes Film Festival.
what's
whatever.
that?
Yeah, that's insane, David. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, what's that?
Well, having never experienced a 7-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival, I wouldn't know. But I would think that would be pretty flattering.
I guess you're right. I know.
But 7 minutes is a
7 minutes is a little
long
obnoxious. It's like, all right.
It hasn't
listen.
even been 7 minutes in this interview.
No.
You're just standing there?
4 minutes plus another 3?
But 7 minutes in anything is good enough for me.
Read between the lines there, David.
I have to get this question in because I know anybody that saw your interview the last time you were here wants a follow-up, as do I. So I have to know, how are things going with Bozo and your clown collective? Talk to us.
Oh my gosh, we just had an incredible event in Nashville. We supported an organization called Nashville Peacemakers, who do really incredible. It was a citywide baby shower. And yeah, we gave out a bunch of strollers and diaper bags, and we performed a song. We had Jozo Bozo, the first female Bozo the Clown.
Yes.
And his royal kindness, who's an amazing guy named Keenan Walker, who is part of the Bozo crew, and we all performed a song called Clown Crazy. So it's out there.
David, we absolutely adore you. Congratulations. I can't wait to see this film. To our audience, you can see The Good Half on August 13th at the Saban Theater in LA or in theaters nationwide starting August 16th. Thank you again. Good to see you.
So good
We'll be
talking
right
to you.
back.
Thank you.
Bye, David.
Thanks.
Welcome back to DBL. We all have a list of unfinished projects around the house, and a bathroom remodel can be one of the most daunting, but it doesn't have to be. Experts say creating timelines and setting smaller goals throughout a project can help you check those boxes quicker. But I'm curious, how do you guys handle a remodel?
That's Jeff right
Yeah,
there.
Jeffrey.
Man, I'm so impressed with what you do with like the woodwork, the shiplap that you did.
Yeah. You love the shiplap.
I love shiplap.
Can
How
you
do
tell
do all this
tell the
stuff?
people
One
what's a
step at a time.
shiplap? What's a shiplap?
It's just like boards that overlap, you know, like that kind of look like.
mud room.
It's so
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, just one step at a time. First step, go on YouTube. Figure out how to do it. Second step, do it.
Do you have those glasses, safety glasses?
I do when I cut wood.
That is
because
so
it kind of
cool.
gets everywhere and you
have
don't
the
want it
wood
in your
cutting
eye.
You have a wood cutting
You have the
thing?
wood spinner?
No, I'm out there in my flannel.
He's got a wood. I think
hacksaw?
A hacksaw, maybe. Okay. Maybe that's what we'll call him, Hacksaw Jeff. Well, you can cross one major project off your list by calling Jacuzzi. They can help you do it the right way. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched, stress-free remodeling process. Call 1-800-996-0017 or just visit jacuzzibathremodel.com. Before you go, have you ever wondered what really happens behind the scenes at DBL? Have you? Well, now is your chance to get the scoop and ask the questions you really want. Join us next Thursday, August 22nd, for a live podcast event that we're calling Daytime Talk After Dark. We want you to scan that QR code. It is right on your screen. Get up. I'm literally waiting for you. Get up and join us virtually. When you buy a ticket, you can also submit your question and we could answer it live. Do not miss out and get your tickets now. What do you think people want to know the most?
I don't think they like to be yelled at.
They want to know which beverage they should bring to join us, and the answer is whichever one you want.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Ooh.
Oh, I guess I could have cheered.
Cheers. It's gonna be juicy though. Like, what if someone asks, like, who's your least favorite co-host?
Tori.
Ooh.
DBL is new every day. We'll see you same time, same place.
Join us.